We live in a space, Ron, where everything it's two different dynamics. Number one, we go from everything is right now to the future. And what about the future? What about the future? When you have the future in front of you right now, what Wemby did when Wemby played this season, the way Wemby's been playing, and what Mars has said about him, and what I've seen from him, I feel like Swiper, he did the same thing that SGA did a couple of years ago when SGA averaged 30 a game and he ended up making first team all pro. I feel like he pushed the timeline up. Like, all right, now we gotta get this thing moving because one, the shelf life on a guy like Wemby with that kind of size and that kind of build, it could get tricky, right? So we have to maximize his time now. Even though he's only 21 going on 22 years old, we still have to maximize this. And I kept hearing the logic about Dylan Harper. Let's move on with Dylan Harper, not realizing that we got a guy on the crew already that, number one, is better than Dylan Harper significantly. That's number one. Number two is young still. He's only 27 years old. And when I think about the lead guards in the game, Ron, I'm thinking about SGA, Luka, Curry, Brunson. Okay, those four. And then the next spots, like Trae Young, Cade Cunningham, Fox. I've always been an advocate. I thought Fox was in the conversation as a top 5 lead guard in the game. And I got there's consistent pushback that I got on that, rightfully so, however you guys want to feel about it. But it was obvious watching him a couple of nights ago. The stop and pop game is still there. The athleticism is still there, which sets up me still being one of the smarter lead guards in the game. I think that with him now, getting back in the fold, because I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to take that long because his game is conducive to what San Antonio was doing. That game is fast. Wemby speeds the game up with his rim protection. And I think that works for De'Aaron Fox. Plus the downhill guard that he is and the athleticism that he plays with, that makes guys like Castle and Vassell look even better. So, I think that people made a mistake jumping the gun on, Dylan Harper, who I think is going to be a fine pro, but we already got somebody like that who's better than him right now.
People just don't know how to relax. They don't know how to just sit down and just wait for a minute. You know what I mean? No, they don't meditate. They don't do no yoga. They don't do no breathing exercises. They don't understand that you sometimes got to just relax. Foxy's back, and everything is okay now. See, the thing about it with De'Aaron Fox now, it's like those non-Wemby minutes, they got another guy, too, that's going to be able to create his own shot and still create for others as well. And, I think De'Aaron Fox just came back, and, obviously they didn't rush him back, let him come back healthy. He looked amazing the other night. We all know what it is when we get to see when De'Aaron Fox is healthy. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Everybody that actually watched the Kings play basketball, they know. There's a lot of people that didn't watch, and so they're gonna be shocked until they're finally gonna see why we would say things like Foxy might be a top 5 guard in the league. And if you don't got him top 5, if you don't got him top 10, that doesn't really matter because he's still as good. You know what I'm saying? So it's like any given day he can play just as good as Jalen Brunson, just as good as Trae Young. People say Cade Cunningham, whatever. He's a top guard in the NBA. You know what I mean? So
Fox, you didn't just make that up when you said that. When you said that you think Foxy is a top 5 league guard in the game, you wasn't just saying that because you was a Sacramento guy. You was watching this dude.
Right. And if you remember, though, there was that year when I was like, nah, I think he might be like 6 because I had Jalen Brunson. But
right.
That's not a knock to De'Aaron Fox, of course. He's still an amazing basketball player. And I think it's gonna really show we talked about it too, as far as like when people kept saying, no, they have to trade him because of the young fella, Harper. And it's because of the timeline. And I don't think people realize that Victor Wembanyama is ready to make a run right now. He's good enough. Swiper has Wemby top 5 player in the NBA today. Mars has Wemby as a potential GOAT. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why would he not be ready to make a run right now? I think he needs a guard like De'Aaron Fox, who's he's been to the playoffs, never made any significant run in the playoffs, but he's ready though. And so I think we're in store. We got a really good treat in store for us.
Sure.
And for those of you who don't know, in his season debut, De'Aaron Fox, he missed a good amount of time last year. He missed some time. Mars, when did he go out last year? Do you remember?
It was March.
Like what month? I'm not asking the exact day, but
March.
March.
It was March 11th. March 11th was the last time he played.
Yeah, so he missed a good chunk of last season, and he obviously missed the first 6 games of this season. Albeit the Spurs still went 6-2, but in his season debut, De'Aaron Fox had 24 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 9 for 14 from the field, 2 for 3 from the 3-point, or 2 for 5 from the 3-point line.
One more thing. My bad. One more thing, quick, Swiper. De'Aaron Fox also makes it to where they can keep playing. They like to play small with all those guards they got over there. And y'all know De'Aaron Fox, he's 6'4". He plays bigger than 6'4", though. And he might have only had 3 rebounds yesterday, Ron, but he attacks the glass on the offensive and defensive end of the floor. So that they'll be able to stick with that small lineup where you might see Wemby, Harrison, Foxy, Vassell, Castle. You know what I mean? So
I wouldn't.
And really quickly, Ron, on top of that, for Dylan Harper to see him now, like it's different than hearing it from him where Fox is telling him to get downhill here or look for this guy in the passing lane there or these kind of plays. Now Dylan Harper actually gets to see him every day. He gets to see him in practice. He gets to see him in games. Now he gets to decipher what's right and what's wrong. And I think that that's just going to help Harper moving forward. But right now, I think that the consensus is De'Aaron Fox is their starting league guard.
Obviously, De'Aaron Fox is a really good player. I was never one of the ones that was of the mindset that they would somehow need to get rid of De'Aaron for Dylan Harper. I just don't think that's like good process, but why not have more and why settle for less? That just doesn't make any sense, especially in the league that you need now, like multiple ball handlers. We'll get to Şengün in a minute, but I think Şengün, the end of game versus Giannis is a prime example of why you need as many ball handlers as possible because you just got to have as many ways that you can attack a team defensively. Mm-hmm. But D Fox, man, that D cell XL for De'Aaron, I don't know if it's one of one, but it's one of very few in the league that are able to do that. The fact that he can just like control his speed and pace like that, when you're that fast, I don't know who's faster with the basketball in the NBA. Maybe LeBron still is at 40 just because he's a super freak. But
more Tyrese Maxey or something.
Yeah, Tyrese Maxey. Yeah, Tyrese something like that. Maybe even Russ still. Who? Ja. Yeah, Ja.
No.
Amin Thompson.
Not Ja.
No. But Ja, they're like there's a tier of fast. So like, they're all the fastest, Fox, Morant, whoever.
Oh shit, Giannis still up there as well.
Well, 100% Giannis.
Yeah, Giannis has that long speed too. Yeah, Giannis definitely has long speed. But yeah, any of them, like De'Aaron Fox but he's super twitchy. And so yesterday even, when he's like driving past the Pelican defenders, like he gets you on that up fake, and it's just like he's so sudden that throws you off. And even the play that everybody kept spamming on Twitter last night when he got the post on the left wing or the left low post area, it's just even his twitch, like with his shoulders, he's just a different kind of athlete. So yeah, shout out to him, man. I hope he has a healthy season this year. I think that him and Wemby, Mars and I had that argument about them in the Bucks. I think they would I think that like the San Antonio Spurs should feel like they can beat almost anybody in any game night in a series, especially given the shot making that Fox brings and the added defensive bonus that he brings. He's not like a upper tier defensive guard to me, but it doesn't matter. Can you contribute to a system at a high level? And so I just think Fox is super smart, super diligent. By the way, Ox, shout out to his wife. I had no idea that she was a hooper.
Miss Foxy's a baller.
He's from San Antonio too, by the way.
But it spaced me, bro. I had no idea that she was like putting up buckets like that in college.
Yeah, I can't remember what school she went to, but I know she went to a good
Texas
school.
Tech and Berkeley.
Yeah,
she's a hooper though.
Hey.
She was like,
I did not know that.
Hey, Morris. Well, I want you to speak into De'Aaron Fox and the Spurs in totality, but also too, can you answer the question like, where would you rank De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle in terms of athletic backcourts?
Oh. Well, I think De'Aaron looked really good for first game back. Just looked comfortable. Looked like he wasn't sped up. Closed out the game as you would hope for De'Aaron Fox. That's kind of like his role, I guess, when he's really good at it. But I just think hamstrings are nothing to play with, as we've already seen with someone else.
No.
So just hope that he can maintain health. He doesn't play too much too soon or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I think it's quite obvious De'Aaron is their best point guard, best guard, period. And if they're trying to compete this season, which I definitely didn't foresee, I wasn't the highest on the Spurs before the season. But now looking at them, I definitely think they're a good team, like a really good team. De'Aaron is in their best interest for trying to win right now. He is someone who I think can score in a playoff setting, can get to the mid-range, can get by anyone, can get all the way to the rim. Once they start building more chemistry between him and Wemby, I think that can be a really dangerous dynamic. It might take some time just to get everything acclimated, but it's a good thing De'Aaron came back within like the first 10 games or so. But as you guys know, I'm not the highest on De'Aaron. I've never been all top 5 point guard. But I still absolutely think he helps the Spurs a lot.